Hello, welcome to London Players Guild. My name is Peter. I am the lovely guildmaster again in the vintage shirt. Not at all. This was not recorded next to the other structure deck opening. Not at all. No, it's your imagination. So we are here on the part 2 of opening some Yu-Gi-Oh product. So again, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh in 2011. I scored a couple of national tops in between 2011 and 2014. I was a fairly decent player, then I fell off with the game, then I'm getting back into it right now. I mean, what better time than when you locked at home to play some solitaire? And yeah, decided with Scott to play a bit more kitchen table meta. So we're going to be playing with structure decks. We got 3 of each of the structure decks. He went for the Chalmers, which I opened in the previous video because they ended up with me. And I'm getting Sacred Beasts. And yeah. Again, I haven't looked at the list of this. I'm just going to be opening it, giving the reaction of what I think, what's in the box, is it worthwhile picking up, things like that. Yeah, a shout out to our local game store which allowed me to purchase it before the lockdown started. So yeah, let me just get into it. Let me rip into the box. I mentioned it in the last video, but yeah, the seals on those boxes is really good because then you know that no one is tampering with this. So in Chalmers we had a promo in here. We didn't have a promo, but this time I opened it from the correct side. This is there we go. We have Raphael, Hamon, and Uriah, the fake god cards or something. I still think this map looks cool. I really like it. Again, I'm a big fan of DX. So is Scott. So we decided to go into more of the theme like this. We're going to be keeping mostly to the structure decks, and we're going to be having some gameplay for you, but it's mostly, as I said, it's going to be kitchen table meta. We're not going to heavily invest in those, just to show that you can enjoy yourself playing a game without being highly competitive, and apparently I'm electrostatic now. Okay, getting into the new cards. So, for people who don't know, the Sacred Beasts are the 3 Raphael, Uriah, and Hamon. They all can be summoned in specific way. Hamon, you need to sacrifice 3 continuous spells. Uriah, you need to sacrifice 3 continuous traps. And Raphael, you need to sacrifice 3 Fiend monsters. And they're all special summons, so it's not difficult, but it's also not easy to get them sorted, if you know what I mean. So there we go. Raphael, Lord of Phantasm, Shimmering Scraper. So this is his attack. It's not... Yeah, it's like we had Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound, or Ultimate Melee. I don't remember which one is English. So this one can't be a normal summon set, must be special summoned from your hand by tributing 3 monsters, any 3 monsters. Which is nice. It's kind of like Plasma or Dogma. Well, Plasma, I guess. You can only use each of the following effects of Raphael once per turn. Quick effect, you can discard this card from your hand and target one original Raphael you control. For the rest of this turn, its attack becomes double its current attack. Also, it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. If your opponent has monsters in attack position... Well, Raphael is a big body, it's 4k body. That can also gain attack from his own skill by sacrificing a monster you control. He gains its attack, then you ditch this and double the attack, and has multiple attacks. If this card is in your graveyard, you can tribute 1 monster and add it from your graveyard to your hand. So you can use both of those effects in 1 turn, but only once each. So you can still, tribute a monster, sack this, attack of your opponent field. If they survive, you sacrifice 1 of your monsters and bring this back to hand. It's a crazy strong card. I don't think it's going to be that playable though. I mean, you would still play Raphael, but I'm not sure I will be playing this. Uriah, Lord of Searing Flames. This is actually the original one. So this one is summoned by from your hand by sending 3 face-up trap cards you control to the graveyard. They don't need to be continuous. Sorry, my bad. And they can be equip. Kunai with Chain, I think, is like that. This card gains 1000 attack for each continuous trap in your graveyard, so it doesn't get attack for all the traps, just the continuous ones. Once per turn, you can target one set spell trap card your opponent controls. You destroy that target. Neither player can activate spell or trap cards in response to this effect's activation. So once per turn, you get a Night Beam, essentially. Hamon, this one can be summoned by sending 3 continuous spells. It's not face-up spells this time, it's continuous spells, exactly. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you burn them for 1000. And while this card is in face-up defense position, monsters your opponent controls cannot attack other monsters for the attack. So when you have this on board, there was a very funny Crystal Beast deck. Because Crystal Beasts become continuous spells, you send them to the graveyard, summon Hamon, attack, and in main phase 2 you summon Emerald Tortoise, and you switch Hamon to defense, and now your opponent needs to attack into this. Which was really quite a cool combo. It was not very good, but it was a cool combo. Here we go, the original Raphael. You special summon him by tributing 3 Fiend monsters. Each time your opponent normal summons a monster, you get a token, which is 1000 attack, 1000 defense, and level 1, Dark Fiend. But it can't declare an attack. The tokens can't attack. Once per turn, you can tribute 1 monster. This card gains attack equal to the tributed monster's original attack until the end of this turn. So you could sacrifice Hamon, then ditch the Raphael attack card from your hand, and then you have 16k beat stick. Yeah, for example. And if you think that you've seen big monsters, this card is different. So it's level 12 fusion monster. Armatile, the Chaos Phantasm. It's 0 attack, 0 defense. It's a fusion between Uriah, Hamon, and Raphael, and must first be special summoned from the extra deck. By banishing the above cards you control, you do not use the polymerization. So you can't fusion it with spell, you need to banish them while you control them, which is really difficult to do. Can't be destroyed by battle, and during your turn it has 10,000 attack. Like, you can make Raphael bigger obviously, but this is still a 10,000 attack card. Shame that it's difficult to get out, because you need to have, as I said, the 3 Sacred Beasts on board. And we go into another new card. Cerulean Skyfire. I am quite sure this is the attack of Hamon. It's a continuous spell. To special summon Hamon, using its own procedure, you can also use face down spells you control. So you can use any spells, which is cool. Witchcrafters would be quite happy with that, because Witchcrafter spells come back from graveyard to your hand if you didn't activate them this turn. Once per turn, while you control an attack position Hamon, you can negate any spell trap effect activated by your opponent, then change 1 Hamon you control to defense position. Sorry, if a face-up Uriah, Hamon, or Raphael you control leaves the field, you take no damage this turn. This is a throwback to the effect that Hamon was given as a plot armor to the main antagonist, so the game wouldn't finish too early in the finale of Season 1 of GX. God almighty, that I remember that. It's a free negation. Well, it's not free negation. It's a negation that switches your Hamon to defense, so it also protects you. The fact that once per turn you get to negate a spell or trap is actually crazy. Hyperblaze. So this one is Uriah's attack. To special summon Uriah using its own procedure, you can also send the face down traps you control, which is nice. You don't need to activate them, you need to activate this one, which is a problem. Once per battle, when an attack is declared involving your Uriah, you can send 1 trap from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Its attack and defense becomes the number of face-up traps on the field and in the graveyards times 1000. So that actually changes Uriah's effect. For the rest of this turn, it gets attacked based on the amount of traps in both graveyards, which is crazy. So now Uriah can actually get properly big. Once per turn, you can discard one card, add to your hand, or special summon one Uriah, Hamon, or Raphael from your graveyard, ignoring the summoning conditions. Damn. But to summon them from the graveyard, I'm quite sure you need to summon them properly in the first place. So you can't just discard and resurrect the card you discarded. I'm quite sure of that. But it's a really good support for those. Like, Cerulean Skyfire and Hyperblaze make it easy to summon Uriah and Hamon. It's a shame that Raphael's attack card doesn't support his summon, but I guess Raphael is really simple to summon. You have Phantom Sky Blaster, for example. Dimension Fusion Destruction. You banish from your hand, field, and or graveyard the materials that are listed on Phantom Fusion monsters, so Phantasms, sorry. Then special summon that fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Yay! You get to summon the Armatile. Fairly easy, actually. You don't need to summon the materials. You take no battle damage from attacks involving the monster special summoned by this effect. So even if it goes to your opponent's turn and Armatile becomes 0 attack, you don't take damage, which is cool. If you control Uriah, Hamon, or Raphael, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation, so you know Armatile will hit the field if you control at least one of them on board. It's a nice thing. More support. I think this is also a new card. There's tons of new cards here. So there's already 4. I guess not that many. Oh boy. We have a small book here. I actually need to get it fairly close. I'm short-sighted. Chaos Call. When either player activates a card or effect that targets this card, or when your opponent's monster targets it for an attack, quick effect. So it's Maiden with the Eyes of Blue. You can set up to 1 each of Uriah, Hamon, and Raphael from your hand and or deck to the graveyard. And if you do, place 1 counter on this card for each card sent to the graveyard. And if you place at least 1, you take no battle damage this turn. You can only use this effect of Chaos Call once per turn. If this card would be destroyed by battle card effect, you can remove 1 Phantasm counter from this card instead. So I guess you can mill the materials for the Dimension Fusion Destruction? I guess? I don't know. It's a weird card. It's from the anime. I'm quite sure it's from the anime. Dark Beckoning Beast. When this card is normal summoned. Powerful. Oh yeah, they're all 0/0. Yeah, there was something like that. Yubel was using that. And Yubel's thing was all the cards were 0/0. Sorry, when this card is normal summoned, you can add Uriah, Hamon, or Raphael. Or 1 card that specifically lists any of those cards in its text from your deck to your hand, except Dark Beckoning Beast. You can only use this effect once per turn. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense, in addition to your normal summon set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. So you summon this, and then you can summon another one 0/0. And on top of that, you get a search. Really good card. Chaos Summoning Beast. You can tribute this card. Another 0/0, level 1. 1 for 1 could summon this. You can tribute this card. Special summon 1 Uriah, Lord of Searing Uriah, Hamon, or Raphael from your hand, ignoring summoning conditions. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Add Fallen Paradise. I love that field spell. It's definitely in this deck. It needs to be in this deck. So I'm going to go over Fallen Paradise when it happens. So you add 1 Fallen Paradise from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Chaos Summoning Beast once per turn. So yeah, you summon Dark Beckoning Beast, you search Chaos Summoning Beast, normal summon that, tribute it to get 1 of the Sacred Beasts on board, then banish it and get Fallen Paradise, activate Fallen Paradise and get Blast from that. Damn, that's actually strong. Dark Summoning Beast, I think this is old one. I think this already existed. You can tribute this card, special summon 1 Uriah, Hamon, or Raphael from your hand or deck, ignoring the summon conditions. Also, monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of this turn, which is sad. You can only use this effect of summoning beast once per turn. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Uriah, Hamon, or Raphael from your deck to your hand. So I guess you can Foolish Boreal this to search. Phantom of Chaos, another card that was actually originally for the Sacred Beasts. It was used by Marcel, that was possessed by Yubel. Season 3 Yu-Gi-Oh! GX if you're curious. Your opponent takes no battle damage from attacks involving this card. It is actually quite expected. Once per turn, you can target one effect monster in your graveyard. Banish the target. If you do, until the end phase, this card's name and original attack becomes that monster's name and original attack, and replace this effect with that monster's original effects. So, yeah, you can't transform it anymore, but you get all the effects of Uriah, Hamon, Raphael, or whatever else you banished for this effect. Phantom Skyblaster is a method to summon Raphael. When this card is normal or flip summoned, you can special summon any number of Skyblaster tokens, which are 500. The card's seen some play in the Link decks because it just gave you tons of tokens, because it's based up to the number of monsters you control. So you special summon something from hand, summon Skyblaster, you get 2 more tokens, you get 4 monsters out of like that. Then it has some minor burn damage based on the Skyblaster monsters you control. Mad Reloader, if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, draw 2 cards. It's a card. Although I guess this is already not a support for the Sacred Beast. Grave Squirmer, if this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, target 1 card on the field, destroy that target. That's fair enough. It's a very good removal, but needs to be destroyed by battle. Setting this can be scary in kitchen table meta. Rainbow Dark Dragon. No, I'm sorry, but Rainbow Dark Dragon in there. sorry. So Yubel was possessing Jesse Anderson for a while and was using Crystal Beast, making them Dark Crystal Beast using Advanced Dark, and that's when Rainbow Dark Dragon was created. But when they made it into TCG, it didn't have anything to do with the Crystal Beast, it was just for Dark monsters. So must be special summoned from your hand by banishing 7 Dark monsters with different names from your graveyard. You can banish all other Dark monsters from your field and graveyard. This card gets 500 attack for each card banished this way. It's just a thing. Tragedia is from GX Manga. It's a kinda hand trap. When you take battle damage, you can summon it from hand. It has always 600 attack and defense for each card in your hand. And once per turn, you can send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard to target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls with the same level as the monster you discarded. So if you discard a Phantom Skyblaster, you can target a level 4 monster and take control of it. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster in your graveyard. This card's level becomes the level of that monster. Card was stupidly strong in Synchro era and Xyz era, as you can imagine. Radiant, multi-dimensional kaiju, so it's a kaiju that you can summon by tributing your opponent's monster, and you give it to your opponent to remove some annoying threats. Chaos Hunter is anti-banishing, I think. When your opponent special summon a monster, you can discard 1 card, special summon this card from your hand, your opponent cannot banish cards. Yeah, this is a cheap card that you... it's a cheap level 7 monster, I guess you can get out. Puppet Master, when this card is tribute summoned, you can pay 2000 life. Then target 2 fiend monsters in your graveyard. Special summon those targets, but they can't attack this turn. I guess Dark Beckoning Beast gives you additional normal summons. You can actually tribute summon this, pay 2000 life, and summon... I don't know. You would need to have already established graveyard. It's just weird. Decision Street Patrol. So you can banish this from your graveyard to special summon 1 fiend with 2000 or less attack from your hand, which is cool. Wow, We're getting Burning Abyss. Farfa is actually a decent Burning Abyss here. If it's sent to the graveyard, if it's got sent to the graveyard, you can target one monster in the field. You banish it until the end phase. So it's a timed removal. Fabled Cerebral. Why? If this card is discarded, you special summon it, and it's a tuner. I doubt there is any synchro monsters in this deck. Danger Chupacabra! The danger monsters is you reveal the card in your hand, the danger card in your hand. Your opponent randomly chooses one card from your entire hand. You discard the chosen card. Then if you didn't discard Danger Chupacabra, in this case, you special summon this card from your hand. And then you draw one card. If this card is discarded though, you can target one danger monster in your graveyard, except Chupacabra, special summon it. So there's something for something, but this is the only danger monster in your deck. Why? What is it here for? Here we go, another new card. Opening of the Spirit Gates. This looks like a proper screenshot from the anime, and I love the throwback on this. It was such a cool scene when the Spirit Gates finally opened. It's a continuous spell. When this card is activated, add one Uriah, Hamon, or Ravael, or one monster that specifically lists any of those cards in its text from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can discard one card, special summon one Fiend monster with 0 attack defense. From your graveyard, once per turn, if you control a level 10 monster, you can add one continuous spell from your graveyard to your hand. It's actually quite good. You activate this, search Dark Beckoning Beast, normal summon Dark Beckoning Beast, search for whatever, normal summon Chaos Summoning Beast, I guess. And then once per turn, you can discard one card, special summon one Fiend monster with 0 attack defense from your graveyard. So there is actually a way to summon a lot of stuff that's 0/0 here. It would work actually with Yubel as well. And the fact that you can add one continuous spell from your graveyard to your hand per turn. I can't think of from the top of my head of what this would be useful in, but it's nice. It's value. I mean, you can add another copies of those, or you can add the cards that you sacrifice to summon Hamon. It's actually a cool card. Fallen Paradise. Your opponent cannot target Uriah, Hamon, Ravael, or Amethyl in your monster zones with card effects. So none of your sacred beasts can be targeted. Also, those monsters can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects while you control them, so no Raigeki, Dark Hole, and things like that. If you control Uriah, Hamon, Ravael, or Amethyl in your monster zone, you can draw 2 cards. You can only use this once per turn. This is the Fallen Paradise that we had the Chaos Summoning Beast for that searches it. This is actually ridiculous because it's Pot of Greed every single turn without using a card. You just get to draw 2 as long as you control Sacred Beast. Phantasmal Martyrs is a card that's not as good as it should be. While you have at least 2 other cards in your hand and control Uriah or Hamon, you discard your whole hand and special summon 3 tokens that are used to summon Ravael because they're fiends. Spell Chronicle. It was a very bad continuous spell that was used by Yubel in Season 3. You activate this card by sending your entire hand to the graveyard. Then you choose 5 spells or traps from your deck. Each time your opponent activates a spell card, you place 1 counter on this card when that spell card resolves. You can remove 2 Chronicle counters from this card. Your opponent chooses one of the banished cards, one of the cards banished with this effect, and add them to your hand. If this face-up card in your spell trap the zone leaves the field, you take 500 damage for each card currently banished by this card's effect. No! Terraforming, but I doubt you need Terraforming with Chaos Summoning Beast, which is searchable. Set rotation with just 1 field. There needs to be more field cards in here. Set rotation is a quick play spell that sets 2 fields with different names from your deck on the field. 1 on your field, 1 on your opponent's. And while either of those cards remain set on the field, neither player can activate or set other field spells. Oh yeah, of course. Mount of the Bound Creator. Of course it isn't LPG thing if we don't have technical difficulties. My recording setup just decided to die. I don't know why, and I noticed it when I was through, I think 2 more cards. So we're going to go back into this. Mount of the Bound Creator. Level 10 or higher monsters on the field cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, so it's the same as the Fallen Paradise. If a level 10 or higher monster destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you burn by additional 1000 to the controller. So it's the same as Hamon, so you have additional Hamon burn, but on all of your monsters, or rather all of his sacred beasts. And when this card on the field is destroyed, you can search for one of the gods, but you don't have any gods in this, so that's fine. 1 for 1! You can send 1 monster from your hand to the graveyard and special summon Chaos Summoning Beast. I guess that's the target. Beginning of the End, I love this card. I used to have it in Ultimate. It was a really fun card. One of the reasons I loved playing Shabis deck in 2016, 15, something like that I want to say. If you have 7 or more dogs in your graveyard, you banish 5 of them and draw 3 cards. It's ultimate Pot of Greed. Pot of Desires, which is actually a lovely reprint. You banish the top 10 cards from your deck face down, and then you draw 2 cards. You can only activate it once per turn. It's essentially Pot of Greed, but you lose a quarter of your deck. It's still a really nice reprint to have. Owner's Seal, return control of all monsters on the field to their owners. So we have a Kaiju here, so you give your opponent Kaiju and then Owner's Seal, I guess. Field Barrier protects your field spell. Swords of Concealing Light. Destroy this card during your second standby phase after activation. When this card resolves, change all monsters your opponent controls to face down defense positions. Monsters your opponent controls cannot change their battle position. Shame the card is not good because of the links. Links don't have defense position, so they can't be switched to defense position. MST is like a... MST doesn't negate. You just destroy a spell trap. There we go, more new cards. Awakening of the Sacred Beasts. This card gains these effects based on the number of Uriah, Hamon, and or Raphael with different names you control. So the more of the Sacred Beast you control, the better. 1. Each time your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you gain life points equal to the attack of that monster, and that's the effect you're going to get more often. Because controlling 1 is simple. Controlling 2 is the problem, because you need to sacrifice 6 cards to get those 2. Technically. 2 or more, negate the activated effects of monsters your opponent control. Whoa. Whoa, calm down there. It's only activated, but calm down there. If you can get 2 Sacred Beasts and this set on turn 1, your opponent is going to be... yeah. And if you have 3, it's all monsters sent to your opponent's graveyard are banished instead. So yeah, if you can get all 3, it's interesting. Once per turn, if you control a level 10 monster, you can add a continuous trap from your graveyard to your hand, so you can get back that cost. Shame you can't set it up turn 1. Escape from the Dark Dimension. You can target one of your banished dark monsters, special summon the target. When this card leaves the field, destroy the target. Okay, 3 times the charm. So yeah, I was talking about Escape from the Dark Dimension. Target. It's Call of the Hunter for your dark monsters that are banished. Shapesister is a trap monster, so you activate it and you summon her as a 0/0. She's a fiend and a tuner. You can only summon her once per turn. Imperial Custom protects your other traps. It used to be good. I don't think it is anymore. It's still a nice protection. And Mistake. It used to be a secret. It was a really good secret. Neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them. So you can only draw cards, no searching, nothing like that. Sorry, I keep on looking on the screen. I just want to make sure it doesn't freeze again. Although we're towards the end now. And Dark Factory of More Protection. You can send 1 monster from your hand or field to the graveyard. You draw 1 card. Yeah? Once per turn you can discard a monster to draw a card. It's absolutely amazing, I think. You can only do it once per turn, obviously, but I still think it's a really good card. With anything, it's a shame that it needs to be a monster, but I think there is a lot of decks that could really use this well. And Phantasm Emperor Trilogic. Sure, it's a Phantasm monster, so can be summoned with Dimension Fusion Destruction. Its materials are just 3 level 10 monsters. If this card is special summoned, or if another monster is special summoned from the graveyard to your field while you control this monster, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its original attack. And you can only do that once per turn. He's a beast though, 4k and 4k. And then we have 2 tokens, one is for the bird card, one is for the Raphael, and then that. All in all, I don't think this one is as good as the Charmers. Cards are better, but it also needs way more from outside to be playable. It needs Foolish Boreals. It would probably be good with Pot of Extravagance or the new Pot. Yeah, I think there is a lot of stuff that could be made better in here. Obviously, I have 3 of those to work with, and then I will be playing against Scott. Although I'm not sure if we're going to do it like a webcam or some other way. We will work it out somehow, some way. Yeah, one way or another. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this type of content, remember to like and subscribe. It does help a lot to grow our channel. We are at over 600, I want to say. We're targeting for 750 by the end of the year, so if you would like to help us, it would be highly appreciated. Also, let us know in the comments what is your favorite memory with Yu-Gi-Oh! If you ever played it. Or if not, what do you know about Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I'm curious what people who don't play the game know about it. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you around next time and play more games!